So it's time for some hard truths. There's going to be a portion of you out there that don't want to hear what I'm about to say, but if you want to succeed in running an online business or running an SMMA like I do, but any online business, you need to hear this, so stick around. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is Jimmy. Everyone calls me Uncle Jimmy. I've been running my agency, My Online Guy, for 8.5 years now. And I'm a coach over at Easy Grow, which is Charlie Morgan's course. You've probably heard of him. He's an absolute legend in the space. And I do service delivery coaching over there. And I also coach my own students. And alongside running my own agency, I just ultimately help SMMA owners deliver an awesome service so they keep clients for life. So what is this information that I think you need to hear that a lot of people aren't sharing with you? Well, if you want to succeed in anything, you need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And there's a lot of you out there that aren't, and that is why you're not succeeding. It's as simple as that. So what do I mean by being comfortable with being uncomfortable? Well, I have found that over the years, and I've been running my agency a long time, right? And I found that over the years, there's one thing that has been my true north to know that I'm moving in the right direction. And that is anytime I felt freaking uncomfortable in life, it's a sign that I am moving in the right direction. Let's take this thing that I'm building, this course that I'm building, this info product, whatever you want to call it, right? It's called The Guild. It's in the Service Delivery Kings group. You can check that out in the link below if you want to. But it's probably the most uncomfortable I've been in several years. You know, the thing is, when you build an agency and it's sort of looking after yourself, you get comfortable, right? And I've led a pretty good life over the last 3 or 4 years. I travel around with my wife and kids. I do a couple hours a day in the agency, and we just travel around Southeast Asia having a good time. You know, the kids are in here swimming in the pool. And overall, I've been pretty comfortable. You know, that's what happens when you get complacent. But I was like really second guessing myself on whether I start this info product because I don't want to be labeled a fake guru. I hate the idea and the concept that people are running around thinking that I'm just growing audiences and doing things to build a product and to sell crap to people, right? I really battled with that. But I made the decision after several people asked me to help them and provide this information to them. But like I said, I've been the most uncomfortable I have been in a very, very, very long time. And that's how I know I'm moving in the right direction and it's the right thing to do. So let's rewind the clock back to when I started my agency, right? So I started my agency 8.5 years ago, and I was a mechanical fitter before I started. I had a full corporate career. I was a branch manager in an agricultural dealership making 250 grand a year, and I left that job to start my agency. And I basically took a $250,000 pay cut, right? Now, I was very uncomfortable with that idea. I had a wife, a kids, mortgages, cars, boats, all that crap, right? I was living the full corporate life. And I was very uncomfortable with the idea of doing that. But once I got into it, I realized that that was the true north. And anytime I felt uncomfortable, it always worked out to be the best thing for me, in the agency especially. So when I first started, I was just doing search engine optimization and a few websites. And then someone asked me to do their Google ads for them. And I was completely uncomfortable with the idea of doing that because I didn't know how to do Google ads. So I was uncomfortable with the idea that I was going to have to learn it. I felt like a freaking imposter because I didn't know how to do it. But because it had served me so well, being uncomfortable and like being a guide to true north for me as an agency owner, I said, stuff it. I'm going to have to learn it anyway. I might as well learn it even if I am uncomfortable. And again, it was one of the best decisions I'd ever made as an agency owner. Same when I learned Facebook ads. Didn't know, I always said to myself, oh, I don't need to learn how to do Facebook ads. I can just do Google and that's all I'll need to learn how to do. Then all of a sudden, people asked me for Facebook ads. And I was like, oh man, I don't really want to have to learn how to do Facebook ads. It's going to be hard work. Again, made me very uncomfortable. As soon as I was in there, I was like, man, I feel like a freaking imposter. I don't know how to do this stuff. It's overwhelming. I don't know what to do. I don't know blah, 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 blah. Every excuse in the book. Then I realized, again, what got me to where I am at that point was being uncomfortable. And so I just tied up my shoestrings and pulled up my boots and did it. And eventually you become more comfortable with this stuff. But the thing with being uncomfortable is that you only get uncomfortable when you're learning new stuff, right? That's the only time you ever get uncomfortable is when you're learning new things. And if you're learning new things, It means that you're growing as a business owner. It means that you're growing as an agency owner, or it means you're just growing in business in general. If you're not uncomfortable, then you're not learning, which means you're not growing. That's why you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's not about like, oh, giga chatting and like it's nothing to do with the, badge of honor or anything like that. It's a really, really good sign that you're moving in the right direction as a business, right? If you're doing things that make you uncomfortable, it means that you're developing and growing as a business owner. And if you're developing and growing as a business owner, it means that you're moving in the right direction. Because a lot of the times, if you're developing and growing as a business owner, it means that the business is developing and growing too. And trust me when I say, the more comfortable you get with being uncomfortable, the better decisions you'll actually make. Because there is a lot of guys that I coach that I can tell that they're not doing stuff because they don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't like the feeling or the sensation of not knowing the outcomes of what they're doing, or being uncomfortable, or, they just don't like that sensation or feeling. The only way you get used to it is by embracing it and trying to look for that situation more often. It's like if you wanted to learn how to cold call, one of the best ways to get comfortable with cold calling is by just doing it a lot, so you get a tolerance to it. And being comfortable with being uncomfortable, it's just a tolerance thing. You build a higher tolerance to it as you go along and you get exposed to it more and more. So if you're sitting there watching this video going, actually, Jimmy's got a point, I haven't felt uncomfortable in a while, I'm just going through the motions, then actively seek out being uncomfortable. Try and learn something you don't know how to do. Because if you're doing that, it means the agency is growing and developing. And if you're not feeling uncomfortable, and this is what I found myself, it means that actually you're not pushing yourself hard enough and you're not developing as a human being. So try and find situations where you can be uncomfortable so that you can continue to develop your agency, continue to develop as a human being, and continue to develop your skills. And if you keep doing that, and you tie that with being consistent, and you tie that with doing work that actually tips the needle, and you outwork everyone, then it's a matter of time till you're successful. It just takes time. But that is one of the things that I see is missing. Like the missing link in a lot of people that I deal with is that they're just not willing to feel uncomfortable. Whereas like you should be trying to find that. You should be really trying to do that because, like I said, I'm building this course now. I've never been so invigorated to get something done than I am right now with this course. I feel so good being uncomfortable, and for a year or two, I couldn't work out what was missing in my life. And it was actually the fact that I didn't have anything pushing me forward because I wasn't uncomfortable. Like I live a pretty good life, man. Like I lost a little bit of that fire. My agency kind of looks after itself, and I lost a little bit of direction and lost a little bit of like what got me to this point, which is like a fire in my belly and a fire that was pushing me forward. Now that I've got this course to focus on and it's all new stuff I'm having to learn, like I've never run ads for a course before. I've never done it in real time with 20 people in it, giving me feedback. This is all new and foreign and it's uncomfortable. I don't like the feeling, but I know it's the right direction to go to. And it's put a fire in me that I haven't had in a very long time. So guys, if you're feeling this way, or you are sort of sitting on your laurels and you know you're not pushing yourself hard enough and you know you're not getting out of your comfort zone, then do it, man. Trust me. Over time, you'll learn that it's the thing that's a true north that will propel you forward and really get you massive outcomes and really get you closer to the life you want to have. And I'm being very sincere when I say that. I don't talk about airy-fairy stuff very much, but this is like, if there was one bit of airy-fairy advice I can give, like motivational advice, that would be that. Try and get comfortable with being uncomfortable and try and seek it out. It's the best thing you can do for yourself and your business, and it will get you that much closer to having the life you want. So guys, hopefully that was helpful. Let me know in the comments if it was helpful. Share it to other people that may need to hear it too. Make sure to subscribe as well. I don't ask people very often to do that, but if you want to hear more of this advice from, just been doing this a long time and that kind of advice, then I'm going to be sharing a little bit more of that as well. And of course, I'll catch you guys in the next video.